So Burkina Faso's PM was live in China, and believe me, he didn't disappoint. He made a very powerful speech. You see, almost 50 leaders in Africa went to China for the FOCAP forum, but a lot of leaders made speech that was good. Others what was just so disappointing. Others was just focusing on the loan, not more on, let me say, a tangible relationship that can develop their countries. It was so disappointing to watch the speech of some African leaders, to be honest. But this particular speech of Burkina Faso's PM, I want you to listen to it because that was mind blowing.
It must be said that currently, Burkina Faso's economy is based on three pillars. First, there is mining production. Second, there is agricultural production, particularly with cash crops like cotton, sesame, cashews, as well as food crops. Third, there are livestock products. At present, we are emphasizing a fourth pillar, which is the development of human capital through professional training. The theme of this conference is of great interest to us as it concerns the industrialization and modernization of agriculture. In this regard, China serves as a reference for us. In less than a century, China has industrialized, modernized its agriculture, achieved food self-sufficiency, and begun exporting its products. The Chinese example should inspire us. However, China achieved this feat due to its vast territory, large population, and above all, political unity and the will to act. Unfortunately, this is what is currently lacking in Africa. To drive a specific policy and make decisions, political will is required. And to have political will, one must be free. Most of our African leaders are not free. When one is not free, one cannot determine a destiny for their own people. In Africa today, particularly in Francophone Africa, many heads of state still take instructions from Paris, London, or elsewhere before making any decisions. We have leaders who prefer to ally with Paris or Washington to fight against their own African brothers. In such a context, building an integrated development and industrialization framework is difficult. As for my country, Burkina Faso, we have observed that in West Africa, cooperation between states has been difficult, as some heads of state receive instructions from outside to act against other West African countries. This realization led us, together with Mali and Niger, to leave the regional organization, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. I can tell you that something new is happening in Africa. The three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, formed an alliance on September 16, 2023, and from July 6th, 2024, they will form a confederation of states. This confederation aims to become a federation of states in the coming years, as soon as possible. I can assure you that this path is irreversible.
Et je peux vous dire que cette marche est irréversible.
Although the confederation was established under the leadership of the three heads of state, the populations of these countries have embraced this project and are now pushing the leaders to move forward. It is no longer a matter of leaders. It has become a matter of the people of these three countries. In this regard, cooperation with China holds great potential for the future of this confederation. Which covers an area of more than 2.7 million square kilometers and has a population of over 80 million inhabitants. However, it must be said that the modernization of agriculture and industrialization requires certain prerequisites, and the most critical one is energy production. Energy is the weak link in our countries. For example, in Burkina Faso, during periods of extreme heat, we are forced to regulate energy through power cuts to ensure everyone is satisfied because energy production is insufficient. You cannot industrialize a country without first solving the energy production problem. In this respect, we expect China's contribution to the development of energy production in Africa, which is essential for industrialization and agricultural modernization. The modernization of agriculture also requires other prerequisites, such as road and rail infrastructure for the transport of industrial and agricultural products. In Burkina Faso, we have established a rail production industry to facilitate the construction of railways. In this area too, we are awaiting China's expertise and contribution for the next projects. Beyond the country, we have a project to construct a railway linking the capital of Ghana, Accra, to Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou. So as you can see, there are no shortage of projects, and all of this is necessary, because if we industrialize and modernize agriculture without planning for the distribution infrastructure, there will be a bottleneck that will impact industrial and agricultural production. But that's not enough. We also need to take care of the people who are the artisans of this industrialization and agricultural production. Training is necessary, and so is the health of the people. On this front, I again thank China, which is currently building the largest reference hospital in Burkina Faso, which will be operational by 2025. Therefore, I want to emphasize that we should not view industrialization and the modernization of agriculture in isolation, but as part of a whole to avoid bottlenecks in the process. I return to say that China has an interest in a united and developed Africa.
À une Afrique unie et développée. Si l'Afrique était unie,
If Africa were united, instead of dealing with 54 different states, China would only deal with one.
Chine aurait affaire à un seul État. Les négociations se feraient beaucoup plus facilement.
Negotiations would be much easier, and resolutions would be made much more quickly.
En outre, si l'Afrique
Additionally,
développe,
if Africa develops, Africans will have greater purchasing power, increasing trade with China and multiplying exchanges.
et les échanges se multiplieront. Donc, nos intérêts sont partagés.
Thus, our interests are shared. Africa needs China to develop, and China needs Africa to develop as well, because these exchanges stimulate growth.
Également parce que avec les échanges, ça produit, n'est-ce pas, un effet de stimulation. Alors donc maintenant,
So now, Excellencies, heads of state and government, I want to tell you that the future depends on us, and above all, on political will.
dépendent de nous et dépendent d'abord d'une volonté et d'une volonté politique. Donc, je souhaiterais que
I hope we will carefully consider this and realize that we must first and foremost free ourselves from all tutelage and turn toward ourselves so that sustainable and harmonious development can take place.
vers nous-mêmes
Thank you.
afin que tout développement harmonieux et soutenable puisse se faire. Je vous remercie.